Good evening, Riverbank Bruins and Bruin families. So we're here tonight to talk about the reopening plan. The dates we're going to give you are definitely projections right now. They're not set in stone. So please, everybody, keep in mind that the plan we're going to go over tonight is still contingent upon public health and them giving us the okay to open schools. With that said, we are looking for March 15th. That's our target date to reopen schools. I'm Mr. Diaz, for those of you who don't know me, and to my left here is Ms. Lomax, the assistant principal at Riverbank High School.
Buenas noches, soy Mary Lomax, subdirectora en la preparatoria Riverbank, y habló el director, el señor Greg Díaz. Dijo que bienvenidos a las familias Bruins. Vamos a hablar esta noche del plan proyectado para la vuelta a la escuela. Las fechas que les damos son tentativos. Pero pensamos regresar a las clases el 15 de marzo. Todo depende en la salud pública.
Okay, so like I said, our tentative date, the projection date is March 15th. Because this is 1 week before the fourth quarter starts, we're going to try to do something a little bit different on that first week, and we're going to take a phase-in approach by grade levels. Don't ask me exactly what that means yet. Like I said, a lot of the stuff here is tentative, and we are continuing to work on the plans as we go. The whole idea here, though, is we realize that we have a freshman class that has not stepped foot on Riverbank High's campus, and we want to give them the opportunity to kind of acclimate themselves to the setting.
La fecha tentativa de la vuelta a las clases es el 15 de marzo, la primera semana, el 15 al 19 de marzo. Vamos a comenzar en etapas por grado. Nosotros nos damos cuenta de que los estudiantes en el grado 9 nunca han estado en el campus, entonces vamos a comenzar en etapas. Vamos a comenzar con grupo A y grupo B. El cuarto comienza el 22 de marzo.
After that first week, we plan on coming back with two cohorts, a cohort and a B cohort. We will start the cohorts on March 22nd, and that is actually the first day of the fourth quarter. It just makes the transition back a little bit easier to end one quarter and begin fresh. And again, a new setting to us because it's been almost a calendar year since we've been back at school. So the plan is to, again, get acquainted, grade levels on that first week starting the 15th, and then as we go into the 22nd, we will have the cohorts A and cohorts B solidified by then, and we will bring kids back on each one of those cohorts on given days.
La primera semana que estamos aquí en las clases, el 15 de marzo, vamos a estar por grupos, por grado. Porque los estudiantes en el grado 9 nunca han sido en el campus, y hace casi un año que todos los estudiantes están asistiendo a las clases. La segunda semana, el 22 de marzo, habrá los grupos A y grupo B, grados mixtos. El horario será igual a las escuelas primarias, y la cantidad de estudiantes en campus y sus hermanos en las otras escuelas puede variar. Trataremos de coordinar los grupos con los hermanos que asisten a las clases en otras escuelas. Y sí.
Like Ms. Lomax said, we are going to do our best to coordinate the groups with the siblings of the other students in the district. So for instance, if a high school student has a sibling at Cardozo Middle School or at one of the two elementary schools, we're going to do our best, and again I have to stress, we're going to do our best to make sure that we're all on the same cohort for transportation purposes. And so as parents, you know that all your kids will be at school on one day and all your kids will be home on, the other day. So with that said, I'm asking everybody to please be patient with this process. Breaking a high school of almost 800 kids with different schedules into 2 cohorts evenly is not an easy process, and we're running into issues every time we go on there. So on an individual basis, if we get your student in a cohort that is not working for you as a family, please reach out to the school. We will schedule an appointment either by telephone or Zoom or Teams, or you can even come into the office if you prefer, and we will deal with those on a one-on-one basis.
Do you want to go over the health and safety?
Right. Okay, so like you've seen, right, and I know you're probably getting accustomed to these by now, although you don't know how many times I'll go out someplace, get out of my truck, walk halfway up to a business and go, I forgot my mask again. So I know we forget these things, but these are going to be vital when we get back to campus, okay? This is not Riverbank rules. This is not Riverbank High School rules. This is state and county and federal rules in a lot of places right now. We have got to do our best to wear these things. And in fact, that's not even the right way to say it. We have got to wear these things at every second we're on campus, whether we're inside or outside.
Pues como dijo el señor Díaz, por favor tengan paciencia con nosotros durante el proceso de regresar a las clases. Es un proceso difícil y complicado y se atienden cambios individualmente. Puede llamar a la oficina para hacer una cita con nosotros y hablaremos con ustedes por teléfono o vía Zoom o cualquier método por computadora. Como dijo él, las máscaras son muy importantes y es muy fácil olvidarlas, pero es una regla del estado, del condado, una regla federal, entonces todos tenemos que llevar las máscaras todo el tiempo. Las expectativas para todos, estudiantes, maestros, secretarias, etcétera, llevar un máscara en todo momento cuando esté en el campus o en el autobús. Durante el día vamos a mantener distancia física de 6 pies entre personas cuando estén en clase, cuando están pasando por los pasillos, y habrá tabiques como esto de plástico entre los pupitres y habrá gel desinfectante y también habrá toallas desinfectantes. Y también quería pedirles la paciencia conmigo cuando estoy traduciendo. Yo sé que voy a hacer unos errores, lo siento.
Okay, so again, I'm going to harp back on the masks. I know Ms. Lomax just did a really good job of talking about all the health and safety protocols that we were going to have in place when we return to school. The question is going to come up, and I'm sure that you're probably asking it already. What if my student comes to school and refuses to wear the mask? Okay, this is not something that we want to be combative with. This is not what we're doing. Again, I'll say it 5 times before we're done with the presentation tonight. We are doing this to ensure the safety of everybody on the campus. Students, teachers, support staff, anybody who visits, everybody. Okay, so if we run into an issue where a teacher is asking a student, this is the most common thing, right? We see people doing this all the time. Okay, this is not effective. I don't even know what it is. It's a chin diaper. Okay, we don't need to wear it like this. Okay, so if the teachers or the adults on campus, depending on the setting, they're just going to ask you politely, please remember why we're here and what it takes to stay here. And part of that is wearing the mask the appropriate way. So the teacher will ask the student that. Obviously, if that doesn't help, we'll just treat it like any other progressive discipline thing. More than likely, the teachers will call one of the campus monitors. The campus monitors will have a one-on-one conversation with the student. Hey, please remember why we're doing this, all right? And again, we get it. I haven't met too many people that say, man, I can't, when this whole thing's over, I'm gonna wear my mask still, right? It's not something that we die to do every day. But if the campus monitors, we get to that point, you're still not getting the mask thing down and you're not understanding that, that's when it's going to come to Ms. Lomax or myself. And parents, please, again, we're not doing this to be combative. It's not a law that we would have ever thought or a rule that we ever thought we would have to enforce, but it is for the safety of everybody on campus. So If the student has gone through the teachers asking, has gone through campus monitors asking, has gone through other adults asking, and ends up in one of our desks, it's really going to be, you're giving us no choice at that point. We'll make a phone call, we'll have a conference with you, we'll try to correct it at that, and if it still happens, we may be in a position where we have to have a conference and ask your student to go on to one of the virtual programs, or the virtual program that we're going to have that I'll cover later. So please, I can't stress it enough, which is why I'm being very, very redundant here. When you come to campus, myself included, Ms. Lomax included, everybody on campus, at all times, wear the mask, okay?
El señor Díaz quiere que ustedes entiendan muy bien la importancia de llevar una máscara correctamente. Así no vale nada. Tiene que llevar la máscara correctamente todo el tiempo. Y si un estudiante posible viene a la clase y no quiso llevar su máscara, el maestro va a pedirle, por favor, ponla correctamente, y si no quiso, entonces el estudiante, probablemente usted va a hablar con nosotros. Una opción es que el estudiante continúe sus estudios en casa y que no viene al campus para estudiar. Es muy importante que lleven las máscaras todo el tiempo, correctamente.
Okay, and I didn't stress, or I didn't talk about a lot of the other safety protocols on there, but just so you know, our plan includes physical distancing in the classrooms. We're going to do everything in our power. Students, we're going to need your help with this one. When we're out in the general population, we have got to be doing our part to try to stay 6 feet apart from each other. We have to, I know it's not what we're used to. It's not what we want, but it's the current reality of the pandemic that we're living through. So we will have all the PPE, the personal protective equipment, for the teachers in the classrooms, the plastic partitions, hand sanitizer, disinfecting wipes. We're even giving teachers these temporary or these disposable masks in case you do forget it or you do lose it. We understand that happens. But again, let's not be combative over this, okay? So thank you. Let's go to the next one, Dana. Just when you thought I was done talking about it, parents, we need your help as well, okay? If your student at the high school level is exhibiting symptoms, if they're showing a fever, if they, just exhibiting the symptoms of COVID, I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to say some symptoms that aren't. But if your student is sick, please keep your student home. Please contact us and let us know the reason why. Students, I just had this conversation with my daughter a couple weeks ago, right? She's in high school too, and she doesn't feel it like some high school kids don't feel it some days. She comes to me and says, "Dad, I'm not feeling well today." And I said, okay, this is not the environment to fake sick, okay? If you don't feel like doing something, just tell me that. If you're sick, I need to know, because there's stuff that we have to do now, and I'm going to take you and get a COVID test, and I'm going to make sure that you're not transmitting this virus to other people. So kids, this is not the time to fake sick. If you're sick, stay home. If you're not, you can deal with your parents about playing hooky, but otherwise show up to school.
Ok, el señor Díaz usó unas palabras que no sé, playing hooky, pero lo que dijo es que ahora no es la hora, no es el tiempo de decir a los padres, pues no me siento bien, quiero quedarme en casa. Si está enfermo, sí, quédate en casa, pero si no, ven a la escuela y haga sus estudios. Si sus estudiantes tienen síntomas de estar en casa, de estar enfermo, por favor, manténganlos en casa. Queremos que enfaticen la importancia de seguir las reglas de higiene, lavarse las manos, etc. Vamos a observar la distancia física entre los estudiantes mientras están en casa, pero por favor, si no se siente bien, los estudiantes deben quedarse en casa y sí, es todo. No sé cómo se dice, lo siento, play hooky, but we'll worry about that later.
Yeah, and again, parents, just like everything else, we're all part of this community, we're all one Bruin family, and we need to act like it during this. So please, help us out, we'll help you out. Just remember that if we don't follow these protocols, there's a chance that the county will shut us down and we'll have to go back to where we are now. And I will speak for your teachers right now, none of them want that, okay? We went into education because we want to be around you, not staring at a screen at you, okay? So let's talk about student drop-off and pickup. Last year, we asked everybody to please start taking your students and dropping them off by Faria Gym. We need to continue that for a couple reasons. One, we're having construction on a new security fence go up sometime right around the time we may be coming back to school. So there's going to be contractors and whatnot at the front of the school. So please, if you're dropping your son or daughter off, please drop them off back by Faria Gym, just like we were doing last year. The buses will be dropping students off. We're shooting for about 15 minutes prior to class starting, and they will be leaving about 20 minutes after class ends. And the reason for the difference at the end of the day is we're giving kids time to grab their lunches because we will be providing that for them. If you're dropping if you're dropping your students off, if you're walking to school students, don't get there way too early, please. What we don't want right now is students hanging around school with no rhyme or reason and just congregating in one area. Again, we want to make sure that we're doing our part to stop the spread of the virus. Otherwise, we do run the possibility of opening school, getting back into a groove, and then having county public health tell us, you got to shut down again. And again, none of us want that.
Como dijo el Señor, nosotros somos una familia, los Bruins, y queremos lo mejor para sus estudiantes y a nosotros, los maestros, todos los empleados de la escuela quieren que los estudiantes estén en casa, estén en la escuela con nosotros. Entonces, por favor, sean buenos con las máscaras, etcétera. Y cuando vengan a la escuela, por favor, no lleguen antes, más de 15 minutos temprano. Normalmente queremos que los estudiantes lleguen temprano, pero en estos días la seguridad de los estudiantes y la salud es muy importante y queremos evitar problemas con la salud cuando los estudiantes están hablando y charlando durante el día antes de las clases. Tiene que llevar los estudiantes al gimnasio Faria si están llevándolos por coche, y es posible que haya construcción, entonces tengan cuidado con eso. Y cuando los estudiantes salgan de la escuela, queremos que salgan inmediatamente después de que terminan las clases por las razones de la salud. Los atletas tendrán que salir del campus y volver para las prácticas y eventos a la hora designada.
Yeah, it's one part on that slide that I didn't touch on. It was the end, or the asterisk down there at the end. We know that sports have started up and we have a few athletics taking place right now. So if your son or daughter is involved in athletics, and even though class will get done prior to practice starting, the student, please, you must leave. I'll show you on the next slide the bell schedule. You'll see the duration of time that goes by between the end of class and the start of athletics. So please plan on going home, coming back, and again, change before you come back to school. Okay, so here's the bell schedule that we're going to be working on. So as you can see at the top, on the side, that students will be on campus physically 2 days out of the week and off campus 3 days out of the week. Cohort A will come on Mondays and Thursdays, and Cohort B will come on Tuesdays and Fridays. Wednesdays will be the current distance learning schedule, the same schedule that we have coming up 2 days from now, okay, so there's no changes there. The times, students, I heard you, some of those of you who've come on campus to get your yearbooks or whatever, when we were talking, he said, Mr. Diaz, we're not going to start class at 7:58 again, are we? And so, you know what, I figured I'd be nice and we'd just go ahead and start class at 9 like you're used to all year. So we'll be doing 3 periods a day. And then the teachers will have office hours in the afternoon. But that goes back to the point about, if you do need to return to campus after 3 o'clock, you can't just mill around for 3 hours. So food service will be available in the morning at three or four designated points. Again, like I said at the beginning of the presentation, there is still a lot of details that we are working through. I don't want to give you misinformation tonight, so just know that we will be providing more information about specifics as we get closer to the March 15th date. Same thing for lunch, and the bus schedule departure time is on there.
Como dijo el señor Díaz, ustedes pueden ver el horario que vamos a seguir. Los estudiantes estarán en el campus 2 días y 3 días en casa. Si son miembros del grupo A, van a estar en el campus el lunes y el jueves. Los del grupo B van a estar en campus el martes y el viernes. Y todos los estudiantes estarán aprendiendo en casa como ahora los miércoles. Vamos a servir el desayuno más o menos a las 8:45 y el almuerzo a las 12, entre las 12 y 12:15. El almuerzo y el desayuno serán envasados o preenvasados, entonces van a llevar su comida y irse. Durante el día en que vinieron al campus para sus anuarios, unos estudiantes le preguntaron al señor Díaz, ay señor, tenemos que comenzar a las 8 menos 2 de la mañana, y el señor Díaz les dijo que no. Ahora vamos a comenzar a las 9 de la mañana y seguir las clases hasta las 12:30, hasta las 12.
All right, so just like every other site in Riverbank Unified, we understand that everybody views the return to school a little bit differently, and we are going to offer the virtual instruction program at the high school as well. There are some very specific things you need to know about this before you make up your mind as to whether or not you're going to allow your child to come back in person, or if you prefer to have them remain at home. So we will be using Edgenuity. Many of you that go to the high school have heard of Edgenuity or used Edgenuity. A lot of the times mainly we've used it in the past for credit recovery. During summer school, last summer, we used it all for Edgenuity for summer school for credit recovery. The difference is this, and everybody, I need to be very clear about this. Whatever teachers you have right now, if you decide to go on Edgenuity, you'll be taken out of your current teacher's classes, because Edgenuity is, like it says on the slide, 100% independent online curriculum. You will be doing it self-paced and it's self-directed. You may run in, depending on what classes you're taking. For instance, if you're a senior taking an AP Calculus class, AP Calculus is tough. I know it is. I hear your feedback all the time. I know there's other math courses. I know there's science courses. I know there's some very difficult classes that you are taking. You're not going to have the same interaction with your teacher for help should you choose to go on Edgenuity. Okay? We will put into place help for you, like it says at the bottom of this. We will allow you, obviously you have the capabilities to contact your teachers during office hours to ask them about content. If it's technical problems, we're trying to figure out currently a contact point, like who's the best person to go with on that. But please understand this, that you've done 3 quarters during distance learning. If we choose to go on the virtual instruction program using Edgenuity, that you will be taken out of your teacher's classes. We will give you a case manager. Depending on the number of students will depend on the number of case managers we need for that. And really what they're doing is they're monitoring your progress more than they're helping you with the academic instruction, okay? So if procrastinating is something you like to do, I would point you to come back to school, because Edgenuity is, you're still going to be earning your graduation credits, so you'll have 2.5 credits for each class. So you're looking at 15 credits there, where if you procrastinate and by May 27th you have not completed the courses, you just took yourself out of 15 credits and put yourself 15 credits deficient for graduation. It's not something we want to see happen to anybody. So You have to look inwardly on this. Parents, you need to have a real discussion with your son or daughter about this. Is that, are they going to independently, without somebody's thumb on their forehead every day in class saying, you know, I'm going to get my work done and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability?
Ustedes tienen que escoger entre dos modelos. Instrucción presencial cuando los estudiantes vengan al campus y la instrucción virtual. La instrucción virtual usa un programa que se llama Edgenuity, que es usado también durante la escuela de verano. El programa de en el programa de Edgenuity, los estudiantes tienen que hacer todo independientemente. Es un programa en línea y los estudiantes se encargan de la rapidez con la cual completen los cursos. Ellos, si son un poco perezosos, tal vez no es el mejor programa porque tienen que completar las tareas en tiempo. Tendrán que completar todos los cursos por el 27 de mayo. Tenemos 9 semanas, un cuarto. Y los estudiantes, si ustedes deciden escoger el programa Edgenuity, ellos serán quitados de las clases que tienen ahora y vamos a ponerlos en clases virtuales con maestros diferentes. No tendrán el contacto diariamente maestro-estudiante porque será en línea. Si tienen problemas académicos, pueden comunicarse con los maestros que tienen ahora durante las horas oficinas que tenemos en la mañana y por la tarde desde las 12:30 hasta las 3. Si tiene problemas técnicos, en este momento no estamos seguros en cómo vamos a dirigirlos, pero sí podemos ayudarlos. Entonces es muy importante como estudiante y como padre decidir cuál tipo de estudiante son y hacer una decisión que va a beneficiar a su estudiante. Si no hace el trabajo durante estas 9 semanas, van a perder crédito, hasta 15 créditos. Entonces, nosotros quisiéramos que vengan a la escuela.
Thank you. Okay, so in terms of attendance on Edgenuity, just if you choose the virtual program, we still have to take attendance like we have been all year, right? And I'm sure by now you've understood that it's not the normal type of attendance anyway, right? We take it twice. So with Edgenuity, your case manager will be looking at all of your classes that you're taking through Edgenuity, and we'll be looking for 12% progress per week. With 9 weeks of the school year left, starting on March 22nd, which is when the VIP program will start, is March 22nd. You really need to finish 11.1% each week to get you 100% to have your classes finished by May 27th. So we just put 12% there, shoot over a little bit, get your 12% done for the week. It is also possible, I do need to tell you this, it is also possible for you as a student, since it is self-paced, say it's a really fun course and you want to sit down all weekend and you just want to go 24 hours straight. You can do that and you can make up more than 12%, but that's kind of the benchmark that we're going to be looking at in terms of giving you weekly credit. So if you come to school now, we look at you being live in class for one part of attendance and we look at you completing asynchronous work for the second part of attendance. With this, like we said, we're just looking at the computer screen. The case managers will be reaching out to students if they're falling behind and saying, hey, through Teams, through some sort of contact information that it asks for on here, we will be reaching out to you to make sure that you're on progress or progressing on schedule and see if you have any questions or concerns as you go through the curriculums on there. The third bullet down asks for personal contact information. So if you decide to do this, I can't stress this enough. Not all the time is the contact information we have in Aries correct, and so we will try to reach out to families and we get a disconnected number. Please, one, if you have a cell phone, I can't tell you how many times I've tried to reach families and the voicemail's not set up and I can't leave a message. Please set up your voicemail have a working number or the correct number on file with us, the correct email, anything that you can do that makes our job contacting you easy. Because like I said, we're dealing with 9 weeks. And so if we can't contact you for 5 of those weeks, it may be too late by the time we get a hold of you.
La asistencia es muy importante y todavía tenemos que tomar la asistencia durante estos 9 semanas, aun si su estudiante decide seguir el programa virtual. Para tener éxito en este programa, su estudiante tiene que completar hacer 10% de progreso por semana, que es más o menos 5 días de crédito para la asistencia. Es posible que su estudiante complete el curso más rápidamente, pero tiene que hacer por lo menos 12% del programa por semana. La maestra que se encarga de su estudiante observará y averiguará el progreso de él o de ella. Y las calificaciones del programa de Edgenuity califica las tareas y las pruebas y los exámenes automáticamente. Es muy importante, es preciso que tengamos su información personal y que sea exacta, correcta. Es muy difícil comunicarnos con ustedes si no tenemos su número correcto del teléfono celular, y también no podemos dejar mensajes si ustedes no tienen el voicemail. Tenemos que dejar mensajes de vez en cuando. Entonces, por favor, si escojan este programa de enseñanza virtual, por favor, hagan su voicemail y asegúrense que la información que tengamos es correcta. También es muy importante que sepan que no será posible cambiar de programa. Si usted escoge el programa de enseñanza virtual, no podrán venir a la escuela más tarde para asistir a las clases en el campus. Cuando hagan la decisión o cuando tomen la decisión, es la decisión que tengan. La solicitud para el programa de enseñanza virtual es disponible en el sitio red de Riverbank Unified School District, y también tenemos las formas en la oficina principal de la preparatoria. Usted puede completar la solicitud en línea y submitirla, o pueden entregar la forma a la oficina. La fecha absoluta para hacer esta solicitud para el programa virtual es el 1 de marzo.
Thank you. Okay, yes. So the last part of this is the part that everybody needs to pay attention to on here if this is something that you're really thinking about. If you decide to go to the VIP and you're on it for a couple weeks and you decide this is not my thing, it is not going to be possible. I'm going to stress this. It is not going to be possible to come back to campus. Remember, when we get the schedules and the cohorts done, we have to have a certain number of people in each class. I can't give you that number because the classrooms are different sizes, okay? So we have to sit down in the next few weeks and we need to figure out how many kids can be in each one of the classrooms at the campus on any given period. And so adding people back into it just messes up the equation. So right now, understand this, if you make the decision to go on VIP, that's it. That's the way the school year ends for your son or daughter. There is no coming back to school. Okay, like Ms. Lomax said, the application for this is on the Riverbank Unified website. I also have it posted on the Riverbank High School website right on the homepage, and we will make copies and we will put them in the front office at the high school. The deadline, absolutely, you can't, if you make up your mind on the second, whatever you made on the first was your decision, so you need to know that. The absolute deadline is the first, and I'll tell you another reason why. We can't do that whole process of breaking down the cohorts. I'm sure you have questions about who's going to be in cohort A, cohort B. Can't answer that until March 2nd, March 3rd, after March 1st deadline. And we know not only the number of students returning to campus and the number of students staying at home, but more specifically, I need to know exactly who you are if you're coming back and who you are if you're staying home. Because we need to sit down as a team and we need to construct your Edgenuity classes to match the schedules that you have, okay, on an individual basis. So March 2nd through March 14th are going to be very stressful times for the RHS administration, but we will figure it out to the best of our ability and go all the way back to the beginning. If for some reason, when we think we haven't figured out, if we haven't figured out that suits your family because of something that we overlooked, again, please reach out to the high school. We will do the best to accommodate you. Again, just like with the masks, this whole process, we're not trying to dictate what you can and can't do. We're trying to work with you and help you through this process, just like we're trying to get through this process ourselves. So that's the end of the presentation. I'm sure there may be some questions. If there are, we can open up for those now. Thank you.
Como dijo el señor Díaz, es muy importante que tomen una decisión antes del 1 de marzo. Las solicitudes están disponibles en la línea red del distrito y también en el sitio red de Riverbank High School y también están disponibles en la oficina de la preparatoria. Y como dijo, si usted decide continuar con un programa virtual en casa, no podrá cambiar de opinión y venir a la escuela 2 semanas después. Es muy difícil, va a ser muy difícil para nosotros y vamos a trabajar duramente para dividir las clases entre grupos A, o los estudiantes entre grupo A y grupo B, y también construir un horario para sus estudiantes que deciden tomar las clases virtualmente para que tengan las clases necesarias para graduarse y que ya tienen. Creo que es todo para esta noche. Si tienen preguntas, por favor, escríbenos, llámenos. Sí.
Any questions?
No major ones that we weren't able to answer.
Well, okay. Again, Bruin family, the extended Bruin family, we are gearing up. We can't wait to get you back to campus. Again, make the decision that's going to be right for you and your family. Just remember that March 1st deadline, please, because like I said, the decision you make March 1st is the decision that we're going to have to go with more than likely. You could start in person, something happens, and you could go to Edgenuity if you needed to. That way works. Just if you start on Edgenuity, there's no coming back. I don't know how else to say it. So again, we appreciate your time. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight. And
remind them the 2 dates and remind them any questions to the office, and then wrap it up.
The 2 dates will be projected March 15th to start. We will give you more information as we get that solidified at the beginning of March. We will get that out with at least a week notice to you so you know what's happening that first week of school. And we will start the 4th quarter, whether that's in person or on the VIP program, starting on Monday, March 22nd. All right? Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ms. Lomax. Thank you, Mr. Henderson, Mr. Vaca, Dr. Tapia. And we'll see you all soon. Thank you.
Dijo el señor Díaz, gracias a todos por participar y somos una familia de Bruins y queremos hacer todo lo posible para sus estudiantes. Tienen que escoger entre el modelo presencial o el modelo virtual para el 1 de marzo. Si su estudiante comienza con el modelo presencial y hay algo que pasa, él puede cambiar al modelo virtual. Pero los que escojan el modelo virtual tienen este modelo virtual por el resto del año. No hay cambio. Entonces, si tiene alguna pregunta o preocupación, por favor pónganse en contacto con nosotros y es todo para esta noche. Buenas noches.